Well, good morning, ABC 10864. My name is Peter Greenlaw. Hello, Silly Putty. Wow, cool names. This is what we're going to be talking about today. I'm the author, I'm the researcher. One of my 4 books called Why Diets Are Failing Us. Hello, smile. The whole idea here is to give you an opportunity to see that all diets based on medical evidence that we're going to share with you from this book and from our research after 21 years, that counting calories is the most ridiculous thing anybody ever came up with. Diets simply do not work in the long run, period. There's major medical studies showing that when you go on a diet, the majority, up to 40% of what you're losing is your lean muscle mass. You come off that diet, you gain everything back. We're going to share with you today medical proof, no opinions. We don't give you opinions. If you want opinions, there's plenty of people on social media that can give you opinions. Also, I'm going to type in the comments here for all of you. This is the free website. It's a medical website where all the medical evidence that I'm going to prove and show you today is available for free. I'm going to also discuss 7 new peer-reviewed studies that will change everything you ever thought about diet, exercise, and nutrition. These researchers who are the top, you can see it there, the new solution for weight loss after 38 years of research, they're the pioneers. They figured it out. Men and women were able to lose as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet. They lost as much weight in 30 days as a year, lost no water, and instead of losing lean muscle mass, which is the case on every diet, they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. I know it sounds too good to be true, but it's absolutely proven. If you go to the website, The New Health Conversation, you'll absolutely see the unequivocal medical evidence. There's also an interview with the #1 nutritional researcher in the world, and then beyond that, if you like what you see, you can scroll down at the bottom, it'll say schedule a free consultation with one of our coaches. And I mean free. No gimmicks, no tricks. We're not trying to sell you. We're not trying to convince you. But we do need, before we can give you any advice, we need to know, do you want to gain weight? Do you want to lose weight? Do you have any medical challenges? But can you even imagine, wrap your head around the fact that you could lose as much weight, well, basically in days, taking you weeks. But it's safe, okay? It's medically proven. You'll see the medical studies. You'll see the results. You'll see before and afters, not just the tremendous amount of weight loss, but also the medical, because here's what happened. In 30 days, people's blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides, and inflammation all came down dramatically just in 30 days. People's hunger came down 41% in 30 days, and in 8 weeks, people shrank their visceral, that's the belly fat, by 33%. Oh, by the way, no one was allowed to exercise. I know it sounds good to be true. And if any of you have big will, gas, silly putty, if any of you have, if you can tell me a diet, put it in the comments that's not some form of lowering calories. But here's the thing that's so amazing. The main reason to do this is not to lose weight. It's to deal with this medical syndrome. It's called TDOS. I'm sure you've never heard of it. The T is for toxicity, the D is for deficiency, the O is for being overweight, and the S is for stress. And you and me and every person in the world now, we have this syndrome. Basically what it means is we're drinking, we're breathing, we're eating chemicals, whether you know it or not. And as we ingest these chemicals through whatever means, the body, to protect us, is taking those chemicals and stuffing it inside of our visceral fat. That's the fat around our organs. That's a major, major reason why people are gaining weight. Now, I don't want you to believe me, but listen to what the world experts say about these chemicals. This is really telling, okay? What influencers ever mentioned to you that you're storing chemicals inside your body, and that's a major factor in gaining weight? Again, listen to what the experts say. The Endocrine Society, the largest organization of experts devoted to research on hormones and the clinical practice of endocrinology, reports that the rise in the incidence in obesity matches the rise in the use and distribution of industrial chemicals. They give these chemicals a name. They call them obesogens. They say, simply put, obesogens, chemicals that disrupt the function of our hormonal system, leading to weight gain and many of the diseases that curse the American populace. They're in our body from a variety of sources, from natural compounds in soy, hormones fed to animals, plastics in packaging, chemicals added to processed food, and pesticides sprayed on produce. They act in a variety of ways mimicking human hormones and essentially reprogram us to gain weight. Did you know that? What are you doing about obesogens? Did you ever even hear about obesity? Let's look at another big expert, Frederick Saul, professor of biological science at University of Missouri, Columbia. Obesogens are thought to act by hijacking the regulatory system that control body weight. This presence of obesogens is the first reason that traditional dieting methods have become outdated. Never before have traditional low-carbohydrate, low-calorie diets been forced to accommodate for this level of synthetic chemicals and the adverse effects they have on the body. The body's attempt to protect itself from the constant assault of synthetic toxins results in the production and storage of fat. That's what you're up against. You don't even know you're up against it. See, in science, the very first thing you have to understand is the magnitude of a problem before you can even come up with a solution. Now, here, let's be clear. I'm the researcher of the researchers. I didn't do the research, but we're bringing it to you. On that website, it's for free. No, nothing to do with calorie deficit. One of the worst things you could ever imagine, okay? Let's look at some of the examples, okay? Let's go to the New England Journal of Medicine, a 12-month study on lowering, one group lowered calories, the other group went on time-restricted eating. I'm going to explain it to you in a moment. Lowering calories is one of the most unhealthy things you could ever do in your lifetime for your body. I'll explain it in a moment. But let's go to the medical proof first. New England Journal of Medicine, 12-month study on lowering calories compared to time-restricted eating, where you don't eat for 16 hours, you eat for 8. Code word, you're lowering calories. In a year's time, the people who lowered calories lost 16 pounds in a year, and those doing time-restricted eating only lost 12.6 pounds in a year. But here's the downside. In both time-restricted eating and the time and calorie restriction diets, people lost up to 40% of their lean muscle mass. Here's why diets fail. Here's the whole calorie thing that's ridiculous. Your body doesn't even know what a calorie is. What do you mean you're in calorie deficit? Human body doesn't know what a calorie is. Calorie is just a measurement. It's the amount of heat it takes to raise a gram of water 1 degree Celsius. Brand new definition, brand new approach. All a diet is you're reducing the quantity of food you're consuming. But here's what they never tell you. Also, what are you reducing? Nutrition. When your body senses it doesn't have enough nutrition, because you've lowered the quantity of food in which nutrition's good, what does it do? It goes in starvation mode. It prevents you from burning fat. It immediately turns to your muscles, breaks your muscles down, converting them into carbohydrates for fuel. Why is that so bad? Two of the most unhealthy things now happen as a result of you losing lean muscle mass. Number one, the body doesn't have a choice. It slows down your metabolism, your ability to burn calories. Boom. Number two, this is even worse. It also inhibits the functionality of your own immune system. So that, let me give you another example. Harvard Medical School, stop counting calories. The idea of a calorie in, calorie out to lose weight is not only antiquated, it's just wrong. We need to change the emphasis to focus on what's in the calorie, not how many calories we're consuming. So the whole calorie deficit thing, completely obsolete. These 7 new peer-reviewed studies that we've written about, in those studies where they compared this new protocol, it's called R to M, to regular diets where people lowered calories, the people in these studies consume more calories than the people on any diet. Because the body doesn't care about a calorie count, doesn't even know what it is. It cares about nutrition. So what happened, these researchers who for 38 years of research, they'd done 150 studies on all these diet schemes, paleo, keto, Mediterranean, fasting, Atkins, time-restricted eating, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem. Every time they put people on these diets, they reduced the amount of food they had, and every time people lost up to 40% of lean muscle, and every time people gained back all their weight. There's another study in here, let me find it. Do you know that 66 2/3 of people who go on diets by reducing calories end up gaining more weight than they lost? Calorie deficit, my foot. Look, we're scientists. We don't give you opinions. If you want opinions, there's plenty of people on social media that can give you opinions. Opinions don't mean a darn thing in the medical world, and I can say that. I've written 4 best-selling books. This was my first one. The TDOS syndrome, which I discovered. This is a medical syndrome, registered trademark U.S. Patent Office. So not just some marketing thing that I made up. TDOS Solutions, and our 4th book, Your Third Brain, which is not a trick title. Look, all of us are faced with a choice every single day. How important is our health to us? Isn't your health your wealth? See, doing this protocol, they also studied blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis. What did they see? They saw things they'd never ever seen before. I mean, obviously the weight loss is really glamorous and everybody gets really excited about that. That's the last reason to do this. People reduce their blood pressure, their blood sugar, their cholesterol, their triglycerides. in 30 days, not 30 weeks. Triglycerides went down 25%. And in case you didn't know, triglycerides are a leading cofactor for heart attacks, not cholesterol. That's such a misnomer, right? But also people's inflammation, the underlying cause of every disease out there, went down 25% in 30 days. No, they've never seen that in 38 years. No diets ever produced anything like this. But here was the other big thing. Back to this medical syndrome, which you and me and every person in the world has. T for toxicity, D for deficiency, O for overweight, and S for stress. They did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis and proved this protocol was assisting the body in doing what? Removing these chemicals that are stored inside our fat. The visceral fat shrank by 33% in 8 weeks. Oh, by the way, no one was allowed to exercise. Throughout this, nobody exercised. They even wore Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising, because obviously the people were really skeptical, because they'd always heard that, well, diet and exercise, that's the way to lose weight. Here's the reality check. 80% of Americans are overweight, 50% are obese. Do you really think diets work? 80% overweight and 50% obese? I mean, I understand it's this really nice people. You see medical doctors, you see chiropractors, you see dietitians, nutritionists, fitness people, weight loss coaches. Have any of them ever showed you one shred of medical evidence? One shred? I mean, they give you opinions, and what are they all saying? The only way to lose weight is to lower calories. We proved it in this book. Nonsense. Yeah, well, let me tell you, oxymoron. You can lose weight on any diet, no question. However, every diet up to 40% of what you're losing is lean muscle mass. And in that case, you slow your metabolism down, can't burn as many calories, you come off the diet and gain everything back. Why do you think 80% of America is overweight? You don't think we have enough diets? Go to Barnes & Noble, my gosh. It'll make your head spin. The diet titles, they're all, at the end of the day, they're all some scheme of tricking you into lowering the consumption of food. Forget the calories. Nonsense. Let me show you another example about why calorie counting is so ridiculous. So let's say we agreed, I won't, that lowering calories you have a calorie amount, 1,500 calories, okay, you would lose weight. So you got two diet choices. Remember, it only matters the number of calories according to all the experts and according to what you've been fed. Well, 1,500 calories on diet number one is lean chicken, fish, vegetables, etc. Number two, if it only matters about how many calories, 1,500 calories, 3 bags of M&Ms. You understand we've got to at least open our eyes and say, wait a minute. After 38 years of research, after 150 studies, the researchers finally said, wait a minute, we have to come up with something revolutionary. They were pioneers, but they had the evidence from looking at every kind of diet out there. They knew what didn't work. So what did they do? First of all, they realized that they could never have people lose weight and not lose lean muscle and slow their metabolism down by just lowering the quantity of food and ignoring the nutritional values. Because when the body drops below a certain amount of nutrition, alarm bells goes off, starvation mode occurs, because what runs our body? Our brain, our lungs, our kidneys, our heart, etc. Nutrition, not calories. It's the most ridiculous thing out there. So the researchers, the first thing they did was say, we got to change this. So they only allowed the people in the studies to consume 40% of their food, like from the grocery store. They gave them a grocery list. We'd give it to you. Proteins, fats, carbs, etc. And the amounts, all right? But the key to this was, remember, dropping nutrition is the problem. So what they had to do, and they did find 5 foods, they didn't find them, but there were fulfillment companies that for the last 25 years had gone all over the world to go to Russia, Mongolia, Manchuria, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, finding foods with massive amounts of nutrition that you're not going to buy in your local store. And so they combined 40% of the food from the grocery store and 60% of the food from around the world. Now the difference was, now when they put people on these programs to lose weight, they could bring them down to the exact same amount of calories, let's say they'd done before, which would have been a deficit on a regular diet, but now the people had enough nutrition. Well, what were the results? Well, they lost weight 12 times faster than any diet. Why? Because they never went into starvation. Their body never, ever got into the point where it was burning muscles for fuel. And they did. Now, look, so it wasn't just, let's call that the ingredients, the 40% of the food from the groceries, 60% of the food from around the world. Then they did 2, remember, this is pioneering. When they started these studies, they didn't know if it was going to work. They had a theory. And what they did, they had two new ways of consuming food. One was called protein pacing. So in this case, 40% of the protein that people consume came from the grocery store, but the other 60% came from sources where the fundamental difference in protein is this. When they tell you, I see the influencers telling you, have 120 grams of protein a day, and you think you're getting 120 grams of protein. Nothing could be farther from the truth. The only reason we ingest a protein is not for the protein itself, but what's inside the protein. Think of protein like a walnut shell. Inside, the protein contains the 20 amino acids. 9 are called essential, meaning you have to get them from your diet. The other 11 are non-essential. They're called the building blocks of life. The body uses amino acids to essentially remake our cells, okay? Like, for example, this month we'll make this year, we'll make 2 new livers, and we'll turn over almost every cell in our body once every 7 years. That doesn't happen with fats, doesn't happen with carbohydrates, and it doesn't happen with protein. It has to happen with amino acids. So you think, okay, I'm ingesting 120 grams of protein from plants or animals, I'm good. No, you're not. In Europe, they developed a test when you ingest the protein. They can tell you what percentage of those 20 amino acids, 0 to 100, are being absorbed in your body, because that's the only thing the body cares about. What is the body using, okay? Well, vegan proteins, sorry to tell you vegans, is a 10% absorption of amino acids. All steak, chicken, liver, fish, doesn't matter, they're 30%. The researchers found a source of protein where the absorption was 91%. There's why the people, despite losing as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet, losing as much weight in 30 days as a year in any diet, lost no muscle. They gained 6 to 9% lean muscle with no exercise. How's that possible? Because the way we make muscle in our body is with one of the 20 amino acids called leucine. So imagine now the people were getting, men and women with no exercise, were getting 91% of leucine. And what was the proof? People, they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass with no exercise. Now, keep in mind, the way this worked on protein pacing, it wasn't just that they were ingesting protein over about 12 hours and having protein, let's say, every hour, hour and a half, whatever, but the quantity of the protein they were consuming, only 40% came from the grocery store. The other 60% were these massive amounts of amino acids. So in essence, the quantity-wise, they could consume basically a third less protein. Therefore, back to that, they were able to reduce the quantity of the food people were consuming, but they actually increased the nutrition. I know it sounds impossible, but they proved it. This isn't a sales gimmick. This is not an infomercial. This is what they did. Now, if you want to exercise, of course, the researchers weren't against exercise, but they eliminated it as a factor. Now, so they did protein pacing 5 days a week. 2 days a week, 48 hours, they did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. No, I didn't misspeak. Not fasting, not time-restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, and out of the 5 foods from around the world, they only consume 4. So each week, see, this program is called R2M, stands for Race to Maintenance. For example, in my case, I lost 40 pounds 21 years ago. I've kept it off for 21 years. This is not a diet. See, the problem with a diet, it's always about a destination. It's never about a journey. You know, people say, oh, I've got a wedding to go to. It's summer, it's spring, it's fall. I want to be ready for winter, whatever. But they don't, I mean, we're explaining to you why diets are failing us, because they are. I don't care. You can put whatever diet. Show us your, show the book again. Okay, this is one of the books, Why Diet. Yeah, you know, it's real nice of you there, Mr. Buck Toko. Anyway, okay, Delaney, I just told you what to do. What was the book you just showed? Now look, here's the point, the more important point. You can go to our website. It's called The New Health Conversation. I'll type it again in the comments for you here. You can go there and you can see the medical evidence. We don't give you opinions. If you want opinions, there's plenty of people on Facebook, etc. Let's see. Okay, sorry, The New Health. Wow, I'm having trouble. It's too early this morning. Okay, I just posted it. Hopefully the New Health Conversation. Yeah, so that website is totally free for you to go to. All the medical proof is there, okay? All the medical proof. There's no opinions. There's nothing to buy. You can't buy my books there. We're not trying to sell you books. We're giving you a space to change or make you aware of this incredible breakthrough. It took 38 years for them to figure it out. These are not my opinions, okay? People always want to take me on for some reason. I don't know. But here's the thing that stops all of that chatter. When you're talking about 7 peer-reviewed human trial studies, there's nothing higher in medical research. That's it. That's the end of the line. There's no argument. It's called irrefutable scientific evidence, okay? No other, no other diet, nutrition, supplement company in the world has ever on their own ever sanctioned a peer-reviewed human trial studies. The studies that, let me give you another example. Here's a study done in the Journal of the American Medical Association, 12 months, where they named all the major diets by name. Paleo, keto, Mediterranean, Jenny Craig Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, time-restricted eating, fasting, Cornish, Atkins, et cetera, et cetera. 12-month study. By the way, this was a study of 48 different studies, not one study. 7,286 people. After 12 months, people lost 16 pounds in a year, and up to 40% of what they lost was lean muscle mass. But here's the other thing interesting. When they compared the most amount of weight loss to the least amount of weight loss in 12 months, looking at all these diets, the difference was 10 ounces. 10 ounces in a year. Do you see how crazy this is? I mean, you can do whatever you want. You can go count calories. You can do that till you're blue in the face. But keep in mind, the main reason to go to that website, again, Johnny, go to the website and look at the medical proof. Now, here's the point, Johnny. This is not just about the protein. That's one of 5 of the foods they found from around the world. It's not just the protein. Like just the protein alone, no, it's not going to work. About 40% of the food they consume, Johnny, was from the grocery store. We give you a grocery list. The other 5 foods come from around the world, not just the protein. Very important you understand that. Because then the other part of it was not just the ingredients, but how you consume it. Protein pacing. We would teach you that. And then we teach you how to do intermittent nutritional fasting. By the way, Johnny, if you go to the website, I'm going to put it up there again for everybody. Hold on. The new health. Make sure I spelled it right. Okay, there it is. The New Health Conversation. You can go there. It's free. There's nothing to buy. We're not going to contact you if you go there. Be clear. So don't think if you go to the website you're going to get a call from us, because you're not. But if you like what you see, scroll down at the bottom. It says schedule a free personal consultation. And I mean free. No gimmicks, no tricks, nothing for you to be concerned about. And they'll go over, because again, we have people that want to gain weight. We have athletes. We have triathletes, and we have NFL. I mean, this is not a diet. This is about, first of all, even if you're the best athlete in the world, you have the TDOS syndrome. You do. I don't care what you say. You say, well, I exercise and I sweat it out. No, you don't. There's not one shred of medical evidence that exercise removes 1 gram of toxin from the body. This protocol, which is registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office, they recognize it as a medical syndrome that every person in the world has. What are you doing about it? You didn't even know it existed. That's why you're gaining weight, because you're storing these chemicals inside your fat cells. Not an opinion. There's 1,000 studies that prove it now. Those chemicals that we're storing, they're called obesogens. Yeah. And they're altering our hormones and reprogram us to gain weight. Not my opinion. This is from the Endocrine Society, said that the rise in the incidence in obesity matches the rise in the use of distribution of industrial chemicals. They give the chemicals a name. They call them obesogens. Simply put, obesogens are chemicals that disrupt the function of our hormonal system, reprogramming us to gain weight. What are you doing about that? Carnivore diet? Paleo diet? Keto diet? Forget it. They're not touching it. The main reason to do this is not to lose weight. The main reason to do this is to help your body in removing the chemicals. It's that simple. The bonus, the side benefit is you lose weight 12 times faster than any diet. This is not an opinion on my part. You can go and see the medical proof at the website. It's there, free. And an interview, not with Peter Greenlaw. I don't want you to believe me. Why would you have to believe me? You don't. I'm the researcher of the research. But on that website, there's an interview with the #1 nutritional supplement diet researcher in the world for 38 years and his team of scientists, who have done 150 studies. You know what if you watch the interview, he says, we'll never recommend any form of traditional diet ever again, whether it's carnivore, paleo, keto, Mediterranean, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, fasting, doesn't matter. They looked at them all. I mean, 38 years, 150 studies, I think they had a pretty good idea that whatever, people lost weight on all the diets they analyzed, of course, but up to 40% of what people lost was lean muscle mass, and in every case, people gained back at least as much or more of the weight they lost. I read earlier from a big study that said 66 and 2/3 of people who go on diets to lower or restrict calories gain back more weight than they lost. What more proof do you need? Harvard Medical School, stop counting calories. The idea of a calorie in, calorie out to lose weight is not just antiquated, it's just wrong. We need a new approach to focus on what's in the calorie, not how many calories we're consuming. That's what the researchers did. They didn't care about the calories. They said, wait a minute, unless we give the body enough nutrition, the body on all these diets, the problem was as they lowered the amount of food, that's really what a diet is. Forget calories. Human body doesn't know what a calorie is. Why are you counting calories? Calories is just a measurement. I mean, it's ridiculous. But we've been told, oh, in order to lose weight, you have to lower calories. Have they ever mentioned to you that you're lowering nutrition? And when you lower nutrition, it triggers the starvation alarm bell in your body, and you stop burning fat, and your body turns to your muscles for fuel, for survival. The brain doesn't run on calories. The heart, the kidney, the lungs run on nutrition. We're driven by nutrition. So does it make sense if you go on a diet and lower the quantity of food you're consuming and ignoring what's in those calories? It's not the amount of food. It's the amount of nutrition. The researchers, that's why they had to go and find fulfillment companies who for 25 years had been screaming, our food in North America is becoming more and more nutritionally deficient. Our food today is calorie dense and nutritionally bankrupt. It's just a fact. And I know you said, well, I eat organic and I'm doing, congratulations, but 200 studies prove when they analyze the nutritional value of organic compared to regular food, it was slightly better nutritionally. And the reason to eat organic, which I do, is it's less polluted, not because it has more nutrition. Listen, what are the things we're the most deficient in? Number one, what are called trace ionic minerals. Now, I'm not talking about iron, calcium, magnesium. We need, according to the experts, we need 70 trace ionic minerals, the things like gold and silver and zinc and molybdenum and boron, et cetera. In the best organic, you're getting 15 to 20 minerals instead of 70. The researchers found a source of the food, one of the foods had 70 minerals in it. I mean, do you think you're better off with 20 minerals when you need 70? Do you see what's going on? We're becoming more and more and more nutritionally deficient. And now major people are picking up on what, not to brag, but I wrote this definitive book back in 2010, 14 years ago. We've written 2 updates to it. At first, we had a lot of critics saying, well, the only way to lose weight is to reduce calories, called energy deficit. Nonsense, blown to smithereens. There's a major surgeon. I just saw her interviewed, Callie Means, and her brother, his name is Cal, hers is Cal, I think it's Callie, it doesn't matter. They're talking about this very thing, saying our food today is becoming nutritionally bankrupt. So now what do? The diseases that are being created because of that, thank goodness we have drugs to deal with what? High blood pressure and high blood sugars. But what about the cost? She's left medicine, major surgeon at Stanford Medical School, major person, saying, I can't do this. We need to look for alternatives. We've got to have preventative intervention. Do you know, everybody on this call right now? Yeah, exactly. What foods? Aunt Tammy, how am I supposed to get gold for my body? Please show the book. Okay, show the book. Okay, there's the book again. Again, you won't get gold for your body. Look, this is scientific facts. We need 70 of these minerals. That's one of the minerals. And obviously they're in minute amounts, but still they're important. But again, I mean, if you want to look, we know you need 70, and if you think it's good to have 20, go for it. I'm not here to convince you of anything. That's way too tiring. I'm not here to sell you. I'm here to educate you. You all have an amazing opportunity today. If you want, you can change your lives or not. Just calorie, forget calories. It's just a measurement. It's so absurd. It's just crazy. I did it also before I became a researcher. I was on grapefruit diets, you name it. Okay, so everyone, just let's all take a deep breath and say this. If any of those diets worked, how could 80% of America be overweight, 50% obese, 50% pre-diabetic? That means half of you right now are pre-diabetic and you don't even know it. I'm going to put the website up there again. No, there's no fast. No, were you listening to what I said? The best organic has 15 to 20 minerals. Fast food, 0. What are you kidding me? Here's the website you can go to see the medical proof. Hold on just a second. Lots of comments coming in. Begins to. Well, Caroline, thank you very much. Look, everyone. I'm neutral on this. I'm a nutritional researcher for 21 years. It's not my research. Let's be clear. So you don't have to get in a battle with me. Here's what I would say. Here's the difference between us and any of the other influencers. You'll see it on the website. It's free to go there. We're not going to contact you. There's no gimmicks, no tricks, nothing to buy. There's the medical proof about what they did in these studies. I mean, are you curious when men and women lost as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet? They lost as much weight in 30 days as a year on diets, and instead of losing lean muscle, they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle, lost no water. This is not some hyperbole. Go look at the medical proof. It's free. And if you, listen, when you go there, if you like what you see, there's even a 20-minute video explaining in more detail what they actually did. There's the medical results. See, it's not just before and after pictures. It's their blood sugar, blood pressure, A1C. It'll blow your mind. When you look at the before and afters, you will swear that they're photoshopped. I can't show them to you on here or I'd be banned. I'm telling you, I would be. No one can believe this. You'll see people that lost like 100 pounds, no loose skin. We didn't Photoshop anything. We don't have to. When we have science, you've got to understand that when you have peer-reviewed, do all of you understand what a peer-reviewed human trial study? Let me give you a short version. When you do, let's say, an experiment, you submit it to a big medical journal like, let's say in this case, the Obesity Journal, which is one of the 7 journals that this new research, this pioneering research was published in. What's interesting, you submit your work, not me, but the researchers to them. They decide if they're going to publish it, they don't review your work. They send it out to other world-class experts, medical doctors and researchers, whose only job is to discredit what you're saying your stuff does. That's why you won't see any of these diet companies doing this, because they'd be exposed. I read earlier from the Journal of the American Medical Association, 12-month study, 48 different studies, 7,286 people, and they named all the major diets in the study. In a year, the average weight loss was 16 pounds. In a year, with 40% of the weight loss being lean muscle. I mean, you understand why they didn't publish it? But the medical community is waking up and going, wait a minute, we got 80% of America overweight, 50% obese, 50% pre. I'll tell you how bad it is. In 2018, obesity was 42% of the population. 6 years later, it's 50%. That's like a 24% increase. Do any of you on this, if you're on a diet now, do you really think 6 months, a year from now, you're going to weigh less than you do now? You're going to come to a point where you just hit a plateau, you stop, you gain all the weight back, and then you go look for a new diet. None of them work. Look, why are diets failing us? Because it's the wrong approach. Counting calories. Again, Harvard Medical School, stop counting calories. The idea of a calorie in, calorie out is not only antiquated, it's just wrong. They say we have to change the focus and concentrate on what's in the calorie, not how many calories. Well, the problem is our food in North America is becoming more and more nutritionally bankrupt. So you go on a diet, which is a code word for lowering the amount of food you're consuming. But are any of them telling you what you're lowering is the amount of nutrition? And when you lower that, when the body realizes it doesn't have enough fuel, it freaks out and begins to convert our muscles into fuel, carbohydrates. But then the most unhealthy things happen to you. You didn't even know it. Number one, as you lose lean muscle mass, your body doesn't have a choice. It slows down your metabolism. But the second thing it does, it's even more unhealthy. It absolutely interferes with your own immune system. Yeah, you may fit in your skinny jeans, but is that what diet you're on? Is it doing something for you, or is it doing something to you? Because the only thing you're losing on a diet is water and lean muscle. Sorry, that's the science. And Biggest Hodge, what do you mean? I typed the website in for you. Because new people come on all the time, with all due respect, okay? So again, I'm doing my best to explain this, but you can go to the website and you can see everything for free. I just posted it the new health conversation. I posted it for you again. Somebody else posted it for me. Okay, okay, I see so many comments. I guess we can't see anything. What do you mean we can't see anything? I don't understand. When you say you can't see anything, you mean you can't see the camera? I mean, I'm on, okay, again, I'm going to give you the website for everybody. Look, it's in the chat, the new health conversation. Hold on. Okay, the book. Can you all see the book? Can you see Why Diets Are Failing Us? That's my first book. That's the book I've been talking about. I'm holding it up for a long time so you all can see it. Why Diets Are Failing Us. By the way, if you go to that website, you can't buy my books. We're not selling you books. What's on that website is the 21 years of research, including the new peer-reviewed human trial studies. I don't want you to believe me. I'm serious. Do not believe Peter Greenlaw. I'm the researcher of the researchers. I think it says it right there. What's off the screen? Can you see it now? Can you all see it? Why diets are failing us? Book is off camera. You have to put it in the center. Well, I'm seeing it on mine. It's in the center. Can you all see it now? Yep. Oh, okay. Hey, thanks all of you. Listen, I'm a researcher. I'm this whole social media thing. I'm new to it. Et cetera. We see it now. Yes, it is now. Yes, there you have it. Just look up Peter Greenlaw. Okay, Google in his book will be there. But everyone, listen. It's not just this book. Let me hold up the other ones, and I'll do my best to make sure it's centered. Oh, I see what's happening now in the portrait view. Okay, this is my second book, which is this medical syndrome that I discovered. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office, recognized as a new medical syndrome. Every one of us, including me and you, have it. T for toxicity, D for deficiency, O for being overweight, and S is for stress. And then my third book, again, make sure it's centered. There you go. The TDOS Solutions. And then my fourth book called Your Third Brain, which I wrote with one of the top oncologists in the world, who's also a molecular biologist. This is not a trick title, by the way. But again, what we're really concentrating on is what's the engine driving this whole train. Toxins, the chemicals we're ingesting that actually have a name. They're called obesogens. And again, let me put the website up there one more time. It's backwards. I'm sorry about that. Again, that's the new health. I hope that's right. Let's see. I just posted for you the free website. There it is, the new health conversation. Now, why would you want to go there? Number one, we're not going to contact you if you do. Don't worry about that. Number two, the only thing on there is the medical proof. There's no books to buy. There's no tricks. There's nothing to order, okay? Because this is really complicated. This is not just some diet. Like, hey, what's the protein? That's only 1/10 of what you need in order to get these kind of results. We're willing, number one, to do a free personal consultation with you. As I said before, because we have new people on here, the researchers, and you can see it right there, 38 years of research, they'd studied 150 different diets. They realized what didn't work was putting people on diets where you lower the amount of food, which meant you lower the amount of nutrition, and in every case, people lost weight. You think that's great. But number two, people lost up to 40% of their lean muscle mass, and every time, every diet, people gained back all their weight. That's why we have 80% of America overweight. Well, in these studies, what they did, they changed and said, wait a minute, we can't just give people regular food from the grocery store. So they limited it to 40% of the food that people got, and you'd get a list of exactly what to buy. The other 60% of the food came from these 5 foods from around the world, from Russia, Mongolia, Manchuria, South America, New Zealand, and South America. So now they had tremendous amounts of nutrition. So then they did 2 new things, and we would teach you this, something called protein pacing, where basically you had only 40% of your proteins came from regular sources in this country, and then the other 60% came from a protein source where the absorption of the amino acids, for example, you do steak, chicken, fish, liver, you get all 20 amino acids, but you only have about a 30% absorption, where this new source that they found had a 91% absorption. There's a new test developed in Europe called net nitrogen utilization. It's a fancy name. When you ingest protein in a plant or an animal, they'll tell you what percentage of the 20 your body's using. Well, plants are about 10% absorption. All meats are 30%. And so what they were able to do in the studies, when they did protein pacing, people could literally consume a third the amount, quantity-wise, of protein and yet get the same benefit from amino acids. So in essence, they were reducing the quantity of food people were ingesting, but they had increased actually the amount of nutrition that they were getting. So 5 days a week they did protein pacing. 2 days a week they did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. It's not fasting. It's not time-restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store and only 4 of the 5 foods. And again, the medical proof was what? Men and women with no exercise, because the researchers didn't want exercise to be part of this, they lost as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet you were on. They lost as much weight in a month, in 30 days as a year on any diet, and they lost it was not water weight, they measured that, and instead of losing lean muscle, which was the case on every diet ever studied, they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass, lowered blood sugar, blood pressure, cholesterol, triglycerides, and inflammation. Inflammation, which is the underlying cause of every disease out there, it went down 25% in a month. They did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis. This is very sophisticated. In 8 weeks, people shrank their visceral, that's the belly fat. We're restoring the chemicals by 33% with no exercise. I understand you're skeptical because you're used to, pound a week and don't lose more than a pound a week. It's unhealthy on a diet. Totally true. This is not a diet. Because the problem with diets, it's always a destination. Oh, I got a wedding coming up in October, so I want to, look good for my wedding or whatever, or not your wedding, but attending it. And then you stop and you gain everything back, and then you look for, now Thanksgiving is coming, or Christmas, or the famous New Year's resolutions. Again, does anyone think with 80% of America overweight, 50% are obese, 50% are pre-diabetic, that any of these diets work? They don't. It's not an opinion. That's what's so cool. Okay, No, it's not purple sweet potatoes. Increase absorption of protein. You have to understand, it's not about you increasing the absorption of the protein. The proteins were measured, vegetable and animal proteins. Vegetables were a 10% absorption, meats were 30%. You're not increasing. You have to find a source that has this one had 91% absorption. That's like a 600% increase over like meat, chicken, fish. So do you get it? They were able to consume less food, but not less nutrition. That's the secret. That's the key that they did. Okay, I need this. Okay, honey, be me. Let's see. It's a lifestyle. Yes, it is. So what is this? If they know, why do they put obesogens in our food and give us fake foods to consume? I can't address... Look, obesogens, it's not just that are in our food, okay? And let me give you an example. Right now, all of us on this, everybody in the United States, we're breathing in the fumes from the coal-fired power plants in China, the mercury, the cadmium from about 2 weeks ago. So it's in the air, it's in the water, it's in the food. For example, in tap water, sorry to tell you, they did a study on 10,000 municipal water supplies around this country. In every one, they found between 400 and 600 chemicals, including things like Prozac and Zoloft and Lipitor, in the water from the municipal water supply. Because, people, they're on a prescription, they don't finish it, they flush it down the toilet. The water treatment plants aren't designed to deal with the residue from pharmaceutical drugs. I mean, this is a crisis. And what are we doing? Counting calories. What are we doing? Oh, go on social media. Look at them. What are they all telling you? The only way to lose weight is to lower calories. They don't have one shred of medical evidence because the medical evidence is pretty clear. Here's the New England Journal of Medicine 12-month study. One group of people lowering calories, 12 months. The other group, time-restricted eating, which is a big buzz now. Don't eat for 16 hours and eat for 8. The people who lowered calories in a year lost, in a year, 16 pounds. The people who did time-restricted eating lost 12.6 pounds. In a year, that's like a pound a month, and up to 40% of what they lose by lowering calories or by time-restricted eating was lean muscle mass. These are medical, this is medical proof. You can believe whatever you want. You don't have to believe me. All I'm saying to you, you have no risk to go to the website and see the medical proof. And then if you like what you see, you can sign up for a free, and I mean free, personal consultation. Free, not a gimmick, not a trick, not a, hey, someone an 800 number reading off a list like when you call into some, oh, we have nutritional coaching. No, you don't. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. Your nutritional coaching, which means in a year's time, you're going to lose between 12 and 15 pounds in a year? Really? And the majority of what you're losing is lean muscle mass? Really? I don't want that coaching. All of you are welcome to do that. Hold on just a second. Let me pipe in again the new health conversation. Yeah, you want to know what the foods are. So there's a specialized bone broth, there's a specialized aloe vera, there's an electrolyte, there's actually a product that actually comes from Tibet in the Himalayas, and these really specialized shakes that come from New Zealand. Those are the 5 foods. The researchers found them. That's what they used, okay? That was what they used. But you have to understand it's way more, it's not just, hey, let's buy these 5 foods and away you go. No. It's how you prepare them. What are the sequence of when you consume it? How much to consume? That's all laid out. That's what protein pacing means, and also intermittent nutritional fasting. If you want a simple answer, there's plenty of research, there's plenty of influences. I see medical doctors and chiropractors and dietitians and nutritionists and, fitness workout people, and I think they all mean well. But what if everything they're telling you is completely wrong? Because it is. The evidence, it's just, why do you think these researchers, after 38 years, said we have to do something completely different? They'd analyzed almost every diet there was. Not me. I didn't do the research, but you'll see it on the website for free. Rosalinda. Some part of it, some of the products came from them, but also from other sources. Thank you, Rosalinda. So the point is, okay, please say what the website is. Okay, so I'm going to give you the website again right here. Hold on just a moment. We're getting so many comments. It's great. The new health conversation. Let me go over one more time what's the whole essence of why diets are failing us. Because the human body, you're counting calories, and the human body doesn't even know what a calorie is. The reason that diets can't work is really pretty simple. That a diet is nothing more than lowering the amount of food you're consuming. I know they call it calories, but the calorie is all it is a measurement. It's the amount of heat it takes to raise a gram of water 1 degree Celsius. It's not a real thing. But what is a real thing is nutrition. So when you go on a diet and you lower the quantity of food you're consuming, what happens in your body reacts by saying, wait a minute, there's not enough nutrition. So it goes and looks for the nutrition. And where does it find it? First starts in your muscles. This is given. This is medical proof. It breaks your muscles down for fuel. If that's not bad enough, in response to that, the body doesn't have a choice. It slows down your metabolism. That's why you plateau on diets. That's why you come off the diet and you gain everything back. That's why 80% of America is overweight and 50% are obese. These diets, no one can tell me. If you need more evidence, go out today. Go to Walmart, Kmart, Costco. Look at America. Look what's going on. Now, lest you think I'm like fat shaming. No, my mom was morbidly obese my whole life. One of the main reasons I became a researcher, because of her. 23 years ago, she called me up one day and said, Peter, I have one wish in my life. I wasn't even thinking about research in those days. I said, Mom, what's that? She said, I would give anything if I could spend one day just 24 hours thin. I said, wow, Mom, that's cool. Well, 6 months later, massive heart attack and stroke. I loved my mom. She was friggin' awesome. I saw my mom do 23 years ago, what grapefruit diet, the cabbage diet, the OptiFast. She watched Oprah. She cut diets out of the National Enquirer. She did Jenny Craig Weight Watchers. I'd see her lose 20 pounds and gain 25 back, lose 25 and gain 30 back. All she wanted was a day. Just one day, 24 hours. How many of you are suffering in quiet desperation? Maybe you're on a diet now. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. The outcome of whatever diet you're on, based on scientific proof, is you're going to gain all the weight back. Because it's the totally wrong approach. You have to first start, you've got to meet the minimum requirements of nutrition in your body. If you don't do that, your body's going to burn muscle, slow your metabolism down, you're going to gain everything back. Am I making sense, everybody? That's been my whole life. Wow. I see that every day with my patients. Yes. Look, Kim, I think it's Kim. Taylor. Look, Kim, the one thing that I want to, if I say anything, I'm the researcher of the researchers. Let's be clear, 21 years, 4 best-selling books. I'm not telling you or anybody to impress you, but I want you to understand my background. I've done 20 shows on PBS. I was interviewed on the 4 biggest daytime shows in America. I've done over 1,500 lectures all over the world. And I was the canary in the coal mine years ago screaming about the fact, wait a minute, we're storing chemicals in our body and somehow that's good? And no one had figured a way to get them out of our bodies until these researchers. Well, they proved that this protocol had been around for a while, or various versions of it, but it had never been put to the scrutiny of peer-reviewed human trial studies. And imagine they did blood, stool, fat, and urine analysis and absolutely proved the body was capable of removing the herbicides, the pesticides, the Scotchgard, the Teflon, and now plastics that we're storing in our body. I'm sure Kim and you and everybody else saw the thing on Starbucks 8 weeks ago that in 1 cup of Starbucks coffee, you get between 50 and 80,000 microplastics in every cup of coffee. Everything's lined with plastic. Paper straws, they're lined with plastic. I mean, every canned good lined with plastic. Do you know there was a big study out of Australia last year? I'm just telling you what the study said. They estimate that all of us are consuming the equivalent of a credit card per week in plastic. What? And yet, in the peer-reviewed human trial studies, they proved that this was assisting the movie in removing what are called phthalates. The phthalate is what makes the credit card pliable. That's the deadly part of a plastic. For example, we know that phthalates massively increase estrogen in women and decrease testosterone in men. Let's just start with that. Don't you all think we need to at least be aware of something different? If you want to continue to count calories and listen to these influencers and see the celebrity endorsements and the athletes and all, go for it. But it's not working. I think we all know the definition of insanity. So we keep, doctors, we all know that the doctors say that if someone has high blood pressure or high blood sugar, if they could lose weight, they'd probably need less medication. So what do they tell them to do? Well, the heart healthy diet, the Mediterranean diet, has been the #1 diet 7 years in a row, U.S. News and World Report. It's what all the cardiologists recommended to the patients once they've had a heart attack. Kind of late once the cow's out of the barn to close the door, but we'll deal with that in another time. So when they compared in these 7 peer-reviewed studies, one of the studies compared the heart-healthy diet to the people doing this protocol. First thing, the people in this protocol consumed more calories than the people that did Mediterranean diet, okay? On the Mediterranean diet, it took people in 8 months, they lost 10.2 pounds in 8 months and lost about 40% of their lean muscle. Also, a year later on the Mediterranean diet, the people gained back all the weight. The people here lost 16 pounds in a month, in 30 days. Lost no water. Instead of losing lean muscle mass like they did in the Mediterranean diet, they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle. And a year later, actually it's been a couple years now because these peer-reviewed studies, they now have had follow-up over a couple of years. People have maintained whatever they've lost. I know it's too good to be true, especially if we have medical people on here. Sounds like, but again, if you are a medical person, you know that a peer-reviewed human trial study is irrefutable. It's already been reviewed by the top people in the world that are experts in this field, medical doctors, research. That's why this is such a big deal. This isn't some marketing campaign. Like, that's why if you go to our website, there's nothing to buy. You're not going to be able to buy my books there. They're not there. That's not our point. I'm not trying to sell you books. You want to buy books and get recipes. There's plenty of people on social media that'll give you that option. We don't do that. We give you real medical proof. It's free to go there. Let me put it up there one more time. What's the book? Can you read it, Lisa? Why Diets Are Failing Us. I'm holding it up there for you. Why Diets Are Failing Us. But you don't need to go buy my book. We've put all the medical evidence for you. Hold on just one second. On this website. Let me put it up there for all of you. Look, here's the point. Unless you think I'm making this stuff up, if you go to the website I just posted at the New Health Conversation, we will not contact you. There's nothing to buy there. Here's what is there. The studies, the medical proof, an interview. This is the thing you should pay the most attention to. With the #1 nutritional researcher in the world, recognized, he and his team for 38 years, that I'm referencing up there, 38 years of research. They're the ones that did it. There's an interview with him talking about what they, after 38, what they saw in these studies shocked them. And they had done blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis on all the diets over 38 years. So it wasn't just on this one they had done that. So they had a real comparison. I mean, they saw things like, I know we got some medical people in here, but there were diabetics on this who were being monitored by their doctors. And as you know, thank goodness we have diabetic medication. You give people glucophage, metformin, insulin, it drives down blood sugar. But you all know what's the reverse, what's the downside? Insulin increases. When insulin increases, the body stores fat. That's why diabetics have such a terrible time trying to lose weight. Well, in these studies, blood sugar came down 10 points in 30 days, but for the first time ever. Right in the studies, you'll see it if you go to the website. Insulin came down 41% in 30 days. No one's ever seen anything like that, ever. Now, granted, probably part of it was the fact that people, the diabetics, obviously they lost. I mean, the average weight loss on this was insane, 16 pounds in a month versus 16 pounds in a year on all the other diets that have been studied. And all those diets, people lost 40% of their lean muscle. I don't know about Ozempic as far as that's concerned. Gucci, Egyptian Queen, can't see the website. Okay, let me put it up there again for you in the comments. The new health. So it's like the new health, like it's a conversation. Don't you think we need one? The new health conversation. The new health conversation. I just put it up there again for you so you can go there. Look, I would say this to all of you. What do you have to, it's not a pun. What do you have to lose by going to the website, which is free and we're not going to contact you? And what could you gain? Again, not a pun. Could you gain the knowledge that could change the rest of your life? This is not a diet. This is a lifestyle, I guess you could say. It's a quality of life system and a quality of life protocol. Look, I lost 40 pounds 21 years ago. I've kept it off for 21 years. That's the key to this. It's not just about that you can lose. I mean, the weight loss is really fancy and flashy and people get crazy. I mean, the researchers have said, listen, we got a new expression. Just give us 4 days. Because they found people in 4 days lost as much weight as people in 4 weeks. I know it sounds crazy. I get it. Be skeptical. I'm with you. I'm going to support you in that. But can you take the chance to not at least look at the medical proof? What more do you need? What more incentive? Do you want some celebrity endorsement? Do you want some athlete to come on with me? And no. On the website is the #1 nutritional researcher in the world. They're getting calls from all over the world about their research saying this is going to obsolete every diet out there. Don't hold on. Are you fighting harder for your limitations, meaning your opinions? Remember, your opinions, that's all they are. Do you have any medical proof? And even though maybe you're losing weight, unfortunately, here, I'm going to read it again. One of the big studies, 66 2/3 of people go on any form of calorie reducing or calorie restricting diet, gain back more weight than they lost. I mean, how much more evidence do you need? You can hang on to your opinions. You can hang on to your conviction. I'm not going to talk you. I'm not here to convince you. But don't you think if we're completely transparent and we show you everything that they did in the medical studies, and then we offer you a free consultation with one of our coaches, not somebody in 800, a coach who's done the protocol, who's coached hundreds of people in order for them to become a coach. Now, here's the other thing. So let's review. 40% of the food you would purchase is from your regular grocery store. You'd get a grocery list. But the other 5 foods come from around the world. Those 5 foods, the fulfillment companies that they used in the studies, not me, but in the studies, those fulfillment companies are so sure this is going to work, they offer you, listen to this, the first 30 days, 100% money-back guarantee. They'll even pay return shipping. Who does that? I mean, it's not a trick. That's it. But, and nothing's 100%, of course. That would be ridiculous to say that, but I don't know, it's very, very rare when anybody asks for a refund. I mean, would you be unhappy if you lose as much weight in a month as a year on any diet? You think you want a refund or do you want to keep going? Because the key to this is called R2M, race to maintenance. The key is to get you to your goal as quickly and safely as possible. Maybe you want to gain weight. We have a lot of people calling, I want to gain weight, I want to put on muscle. We have athletes. The reason we do personal analysis, we don't know anything about you. What if you do want to gain weight? Are you on any medication? We have kids as young as 2 doing parts of this, and people in the 90s. I have a guy with a heart transplant, kidney. I mean, we're not treating, diagnosing, making any medical claims, etc. Of course not. But we're sharing with you exactly what did they do in these medical, peer-reviewed, human trial studies after 38 years of research. Aren't you a little bit curious? Okay, Kate, that's a great question. After consultation, what's the price? Well, at a minimum, you're only going to buy about, I can tell you this, that what you would be, the 5 foods you'd get would replace about 57 meals in a month. So about 30-40% of what you're typically spending now, you'd still spend from the grocery store, that other part from that. Now, and I'm not trying to be evasive. Because I've got a guy right now that weighs 650 pounds. Obviously, he's not going to be done in 30 or 60 or 90 days, right? So I would say, in general, most people feel when they look at what they're buying from the grocery store as part of this and the 5 foods, it's probably about the same, maybe $50 or $100 more in a month than what they're spending now. But look at the results. Hello? I mean, and you're getting the most nutrient-dense food in the world. You can't buy it at your grocery store. Where are you going to get 70 trace ionic minerals? Where are you going to get a 91 absorption of amino acids? You're not. So, and I'm not trying to be evasive. That's why you do a free consultation, no gimmicks, no tricks. They'll go over it with you. Because, maybe you only want to lose 20 pounds. But I'd say the average is an awful lot more than that, to be sadly true, whether it's men or... Listen, most women, they lose a whole dress size in the first 7 days. What? Yeah. It's not a diet. Let's see what else. Gucci Mama. I'm not sure. Kim Taylor Gray, they sure are. They get up. Once you complete the initial phase, weight loss, what is required for maintenance? Again, it depends on your situation. See, that's why we're doing a personal consult. And I'm not trying to be evasive. You want me to give you an answer. I don't know anything about you, I mean, maintenance could be as simple as, well, first of all, when you go on maintenance, you're consuming about a third of the 5 foods from around the world, okay? That's number one. So I don't know. I'll tell you this, that most people that I talk to, and I've been doing this a long time, they feel that their food budget, once they go on maintenance, their total, what they were spending on food from the grocery store plus this goes down. Because all their cravings, listen, hunger went down 41% in 30 days. So people's desire for, chips and all that kind of stuff went down. Not that you can't have them. This is not restrictive. It's about teaching your body. But what happens when your cravings go down, even if you want to have pizza or whatever, you'll eat less. I can say for myself, I love pizza. And before, probably I'd have 4 or 5 slices. Maybe I have 2 now, and I'm satisfied. So it's that's why it's important to do a personal consultation. That's why this is experiential. That's why this is like nothing you've ever done. See, you're trying to compartmentalize this and compare it to a diet. It doesn't work like a diet. It has nothing to do with dieting. Let's see, who else? Yeah, Gucci Mama, that's great. I know you are speaking, Egyptian Queen. I'm not sure. Well, I hope everybody can hear me. I mean, I know you're speaking. I hope we're not having no, everything's plugged in, my microphones, etc. I always get paranoid about high-tech stuff. So listen, I'm going to conclude this podcast. So a couple things. If you like what you saw, you can go to my TikTok. It's the New Health Conversation as well. I'm going to put it up there for you one more time for the free website that you all can go to. And really, I don't know what I can do to invite you to go to the website. Because how are you making a decision? The New Health, okay, I spelled it right. How are you making a decision when you don't have all the facts? I can only do so much on TikTok. Not because I'm trying to be evasive. When you go to that website, most people's jaws hit the floor. The interview alone with the world's #1 nutritional researcher talking about, he explains the studies and why, you know what they said? After 38 years of research of every diet out there, they'll never recommend a traditional diet ever again, period. Period. That's not me saying that. That's why I keep telling you, don't believe Peter Greenlaw. Why would you need to? What we brought you was the proof. We're the researcher of the research. We brought you the research for free. You have no risk. Your risk is you don't go there, you'll stay on a diet, you'll see. You'll lose weight, you'll gain it all back. But what health benefits you? But more importantly, what are you doing about the TDOS syndrome? What are you doing about toxicity being stored in your body? All these chemicals from water, air, food, pesticides, herbicides, Scotchgard, Teflon, stored in our bodies, in our fat cells. You think that's good? And yet in the studies where they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, proving this protocol was assisting, it's the body detoxing us, let's be clear. But they have the proof in the blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis that this was removing those chemicals from the body. That's the only reason to do this. The weight loss is like a throw-in. That's why I say, I know the weight loss is like sexy and you love looking at the number on the scale. You know what we tell most people? Just give us 4 days. Because on the 5th morning, I'll tell you this, it's pretty typical that men and women will lose as much weight in 4 days as in a month on any diet you've ever been on. I know it sounds crazy. We see it every single week. We have to warn you that your scale's not broken. I mean, people call up and say, well, I've got to go buy a new scale. They can't believe it. But here's something to think about. Just because it wasn't invented doesn't mean it wasn't possible. And what are your choices now? Go on social media. Show me anybody out there, whether it's a medical doctor, a chiropractor, a dietitian, nutritionist, a fitness trainer, a weight loss coach, whatever they're calling themselves these days. Number one, they have not one shred of medical evidence. Not one shred. I've never seen them. And what are they all telling you at the end of the day? The only way to lose weight is to lower calories. I had a lady, she lost 60 pounds last year, congrats, but she hasn't lost an ounce, hasn't budged. And she keeps saying, well, I need to go in more of a calorie deficit. No, you don't. Again, in Harvard Medical School, stop counting calories. The idea of a calorie in and a calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong. This is Harvard Medical School saying we need to put the emphasis on what's in the calorie, not how many calories we're consuming. Like I explained to you, you need 70 trace ionic minerals. And in the best organic, you're getting 20. Well, these researchers, one of the foods you'd ingest has all 70 minerals. Do you think your body would run better if you need 70 and you're getting 20, or would you rather have 70? Do you see what I'm saying? It's kind of like, how can I explain it? Let's talk about gasoline. That's a good example. So let's say you fill up today and gasoline was $4 a gallon, and there's a pump next door, right next to it, and it's $6 a gallon. You go inside and say, what's up? Well, you can pay $4 a gallon for gas and go 20 miles. You can pay $6 a gallon and go 100 miles. That's this principle. The researchers relied on nutritional density, not on calories. So they weren't concerned when they lowered the quantity of food, okay, to see if people could lose weight. They didn't lower the nutrition. And they did that by utilizing these 5 foods from around the world that you're not going to go to your local grocery store and find something with 70 minerals in it. It doesn't exist. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know what else to share with you other than the fact that we've provided you at that website. I think it's a grocery list that you, Kitty, you have a grocery list, and then it's not a diet. It is complicated. It really is. So it's a list, but it's also how you can, let's call it the recipe in a sense, okay? That's protein pacing and something called intermittent nutritional fasting. But that's why you have a coach. You also get a virtual coach. The videos each day telling you, day one, this is exactly what you do. This is how you follow it. Not only do you have your grocery list, but you have a daily schedule on a protein pacing day. It shows you when to consume protein, how much. Everything's laid out. There's no guesswork. But you're learning a completely different way of consuming food that's sustainable for the rest of your life. That's what's called R2M, race to maintenance. Okay? Okay, King of Cons. One of the food groups they found had all 70 minerals already in it. That's the whole point. 40% of the food you're buying on this comes from the grocery store that won't have the 70 minerals. The other 60% of what you'd spend of the 5 foods that come from around the world, one of them contains all 70 minerals. This is not, you can't duplicate this. At least so far in 25 years, no one's ever been able to duplicate it. The difference now is we have the medical proof that by concentrating on the amount of nutrition your body needs, not the quantity of food, men and women lost as much weight in a month as a year on any diet and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle, shrank their visceral, that's the belly fat, by 33% in 8 weeks. No exercise allowed, no sit-ups, no crunches, no gym. I know it sounds crazy to all of you. So I invite you, okay, King of Kongs. King of Kongs, to be accurate, 40% of the food from the grocery store, 60% these foods, probably, well, again, we don't know, if you need to lose weight, gain weight, but I'll give you a general idea. Maybe what you're spending now, your total food budget, this could be the same, or maybe it'd be $100 more a month at the most. But that's why you do a free personal consultation to determine, I'm working with a young man right now who is 650 pounds. Obviously, he's not going to be done in 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. We have people who want to gain weight. We have athletes. So I'm not trying to be evasive. This is not a simple diet. It's like, here's your checklist, buy broccoli, buy spinach, buy whatever. Yeah, you get that, but that's only 40% of what you're consuming. These other 5 foods come from around the world. So you're going to be pretty shocked that it really, with the price of food today, some of these, because this is going to supply 57 meals in a month for you, 57 of your 90 meals. But these meals, massive amounts of nutrition compared to what you're going to get in the other 40 foods. Let's see. If you put in what the body is missing. Absolutely. I just want to lose 20 to 25 pounds. Okay. I'll probably get in trouble for saying this. King of Kong, what if I told you that probably in the first 4 days, you'll probably lose at least a third of that, maybe more. So that whole thing, there's no reason at all you couldn't be down that much, let's say in 6 weeks at the most, without any loss of lean. And by the way, with no exercise. Now, it doesn't mean you can't, King of the Kong, it doesn't mean you can't exercise. They just didn't let people exercise in the studies because they didn't want exercise to be an outlier. Does that make sense? You got that? If you put in with the body, yeah, you'll heal itself. Exactly, Kim Greger. Okay, well, everyone, I need to run. I hope this podcast has been beneficial to you. One last time, I'm going to put the free website up there where you can see all the medical proof. The New Health Conversation. I'm putting it up there for you right now. Okay, the New Health Conversation. Now, here's what's important. If you go to that website, we won't contact you. We will not contact you. There's nothing to buy there. The only thing there is the medical proof, and the most important 2 things. One, a extensive podcast with the #1 nutritional researcher in the world. When you watch that, you'll never do any traditional diet again. And number 2, there's a 20-minute walkthrough. This protocol is called R2M, stands for Race to Maintenance. And there's a 20-minute video really explaining it in more detail what they did. If you like what you see, this is the part that's important. You can scroll down. It says sign up for a free personal consultation. It's free. It's with one of our coaches who's done the protocol, who's coached, let's say 100 people or more. Okay, they're experienced to answer all your questions, and then they can answer questions for you. Okay, what is the cost? Because we don't know. What if you need to lose, like the one gentleman, King Kong, wants to lose 25 pounds? Well, I got a guy that he weighs 650 pounds. I mean, obviously he's going to be on it a lot longer than that. We're not trying to trick you. If you sign up for free consultation, I promise you, no one's going to sell you anything. We're not going to convince you. That's way too time. I mean, this thing is exploding for me. I'm brand new to social media because prior to COVID, I'd done 1,500 live lectures all over the world. I've even been to China. I'm not telling you that to impress you. But that left a huge void when I couldn't do that anymore. I love TikTok. I mean, I only discovered about maybe 8 or 9 months ago, and it's crazy what's happening just based on these lives and all the questions, great questions you guys are asking. I spelled the website, The New Health. Okay, hold on. Did you scroll all the way down? Red Queen. You scroll all the way down. The before and afters are there. The New Health And no spaces, by the way. Let's make sure. The new health, H-E-L-T-H, conversation. Yeah, I spelled it right the second time. Thank you for correcting me. Like I said, I'm new to social media. I'm a nutritional researcher. I'm getting better. You know, I hope I'm getting better. But more importantly, did you feel you got some value today? You know, we pride ourselves. We're not going to give you opinions. If you want opinions, there's lots of people on social media that you can get opinions from, but not from us. We're going to give you the hard medical evidence. Maybe you won't like it, maybe you will, you know, et cetera. Our only job is to make you aware of what's available. That's why that website is free. And then if you do scroll all the way down, by the way, the before and afters are down at the bottom, and then after that it says sign up for a free personal consult. There's a couple places on the website that says free consultation, and they are free. There's no gimmicks, no tricks, no bait and switch, no trying to sell you. This is changing people's lives. The main reason to do this is not to lose weight, but to improve your quality of life potential. Isn't that important to you? So let's see. Chemicals killing people. Yeah, exactly. Well, you're going to see all that if you go to the website. Miska Kitty. Yeah. Oh, wow. Debbie Gucci Mama, I did this program and honestly it changed my life. Wow. I have no idea who that is, so it's not like a paid endorsement. I don't know. You know, I got people now from all over the world that are, you know, contacting me. It's a global problem. Let me tell you this. So the Lancet, one of the biggest medical journals in the world, they said they estimate now 1 billion people worldwide are clinically obese, making obesity the leading form of malnutrition in the world. What? You heard what I said. We now have 1 billion people out of 8 billion clinically obese, not just overweight, making obesity the leading form of malnutrition. They went on to say, let me quote it, people don't understand that being underweight and being obese are both forms of malnutrition because people aren't getting the right amounts of vitamins, minerals, and the types of calories necessary to be healthy. That's what the researchers did. They only relied on 40% of the food we can get in North America. They then went around the world to find the foods with the right amount of, I told you, 70 minerals instead of 20, but also botanicals, you know, that came from other parts of the world where the nutritional values are still extremely high, nothing to do with the amount of calories. So again, I wish you all a wonderful rest of your day. Have a wonderful weekend. I will probably do another live later this afternoon. I'm going to say maybe around like 4 o'clock Eastern time in case you just got on late or you have a friend maybe that wants to jump on. I would encourage you to go to my TikTok site and like it if you wish. I'm on other social media platforms as well. So again, I want to bid all of you good day and have a great day. Good God.